Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Secretary.
Morning, Representative.
Just quickly, last year I asked you, for the purpose of testing, why the state uses a June 30th date versus an October 15th date. No, we use October 15th and not the June 30th that's allowed in No Child Left Behind, and you said you'd get back to me. Did you get an answer? Do you know why we use the June 30th date?
I apologize for not getting back to you on that if I didn't get it back to you. I don't recall the answer at the time. So.
Okay. Many states are opting out of No Child Left Behind. I think our neighbors to the east, New Jersey, just did as well. Mm-hmm. Are you planning to do this? To do likewise, or what is your plans?
Actually, they didn't opt out of NCLB per se. What the Obama administration offered up was what is in essence a replacement package, mm-hmm. that you can forego requirements of the law under No Child Left Behind and replacement with a series of requirements that they're imposing on states and school districts in order to meet some of the issues that they're requesting. We're under discussions with the federal government what the proper course is. We have an open deadline as to whether or not that replacement policy is better for Pennsylvania versus sticking with the law. Odds are, Representative, that within 12 months after the election that we will see a new law. And my concerns, and I met with Secretary Arne Duncan about a month and a half ago, and he admitted that he may not be the Secretary of Education come next January. My concern is if we take Pennsylvania schools down this path under this policy and then have to divert again in a few months when the law is changed, that they may not be best interest of Pennsylvania. No. So we're engaged in those discussions.
Well, that makes sense. Now I'm going to talk about funding. In my county, I pleaded last year. I pretty much explained to you what we were going through, the layoffs of teachers. And it's something that your administration hasn't really, this is something that's been going on for 21 years, and that's the hold harmless clause set back in 1991, and it's really affected the school districts in my county, more so than any other school district in this room. $10,000, $11,000 school property tax bills on a home that's worth $150,000 is just, unheard of. I've got 3,000 empty homes. We're projected closing within the school districts, all 4 school districts, between 5 and 6 schools, laying off more teachers than we were, before. Our average, I bet you, our average classroom is maybe 5 to 10 students more than the rest of the state. The debt service has killed us, and I pretty much pleaded with you and begged you last year to help us out. And these are desperate times for us. We're really hurting in Monroe County, and it's the result of a law that was passed in 1991, and we're funded off of that law. And then, of course, comes the cuts, and the cuts, some of it because of the budget, and some of it because of the stimulus. That didn't help us. It actually, what can we do? I'm really at a wit's end here.
Well, Representative, it is a struggle on many parts to try and balance a budget at the state level with the needs of the various school districts across the Commonwealth. I understand that. One of the efforts that we have underway in this budget is actually to try and find out where our students are so that we can move away from that funding level where there is just a simple hold harmless regardless of whether or not we see changes in populations of students in one area or another. So we're trying to we will be instituting under this budget what we refer to as a real-time ADM, so that we can start to, instead of funding institutions, we can start to moving to a system where we fund actually students. It's going to take a couple steps for us to get there, but we're going to get there. And the difficulty that we have is that this is, with the budget though, is a difficulty that every state is going through when we're coming out of the recession and the decreases in the revenue. When the state hole is what it was and it was backfilled with federal stimulus dollars, we're struggling.
No school district in this state raised taxes $500 on a home in 1 year like last year? We did. $500. Our increases was significant. You know, there's no one else in this room, and I dare anyone to tell me that they're paying those type of taxes. And it's a result of a lousy law that is unconstitutional in my mind because the base number, and it's not yours doing. I know it's not your doing. This legislature passed it. But this legislature needs to either change it or we're going to, you know, desperate times call for desperate measures. And I'm at wit's end. We need to address this issue. These school districts and the students in my area are paying for it, and paying for it drastically. They're just, you know, we have more. Our debt service is higher than. I'm at loss for words here, sir. I cannot support, more cuts in those schools. Just can't do it. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Secretary.